Father God, we just thank you for our brother Sal this morning. Give him that courage that only you can give him by your love, Lord. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Well, good morning. As you know now, my name is Sal. I'm a part-timer here with the church. Work on Mondays for the church, and the rest of the week I work at a hospital. And a very good morning. I will add my welcome to everyone here this morning. If you are here for the first time, it's great to have you here. And I was asked to speak a bit on Christmas. That was the theme of the talk. And it took me a while to think about things because I have had a very strange relationship with Christmas, and you'll find out why. I'll say a bit here about that. But it's Christmas, so you're seeing, all the cheesy jumpers out. So you start to know when you get to work and there's bright red and lights in jumpers at work. So everyone is in that festive mode and that. And what I would like to do this morning is just to come back to what we know that Christmas is about. It's about Jesus, isn't it? So I'm going to read a passage from Isaiah 9, from Isaiah chapter 9. And if you have a Bible, you can find it, chapter 9, from verse 1. I haven't put it on the screen. You have to find it. You have to find it and read it. And it's somewhere. No, that's cheating. I didn't give him the passage. It's it's somewhere between Genesis and Revelation. You will find it easily in there. So Isaiah 9 says, "Nevertheless, there will be no more gloom for those who are in distress. In the past, he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, but in the future, he will honor Galilee of the nations by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light, and those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned. You have enlarged the nation and increased their joy. They rejoice before you as people rejoice at the harvest, as warriors rejoice when dividing the plunder. For as in the day of Midian's defeat, you have shattered the yoke that burdens them, the bar across their shoulders, the rod of their oppressor. Every warrior's boot used in battle and every garment rolled in blood will be destined for burning, will be fuel for the fire. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. Amen." Yeah, this is a great passage. I was reading about Isaiah, and some people consider Isaiah like the fifth gospel because there is so many prophecies about Jesus. There's so much about what God's going to do through him that is considered, and it was written about 700 years before Jesus was born, which is amazing. It says so clearly about Jesus. I'll speak a little bit about Christmas, what it meant to me. When I was growing up, there was a lot about Christmas that puzzled me because I'm originally from Brazil, and there was a few things like, for example, in Brazil, this time of the year, we would get something called the 13th salary. That is like a bonus. So they will give you an extra salary in December. You get your normal salary, and you get paid extra. So it's kind of a bonus to help, and it's Christmas and stuff. And I would see people who had been struggling the whole year round with their finances because the wages are really low, and they were struggling all year, and you would think, that bonus is coming, is a chance to pick yourself up, pay debts and stuff. But no, people would go and they would get that, and they would spend on Christmas and gifts and all sorts, and then at the end, they would have more debts than they had before. So they would come into New Year, and it was not a very happy New Year because they were already full of debts, despite having had a whole salary extra in their pocket. So it puzzled me, the thing of, well, where's the sense of this? Where is the joy? Where is the good? There's so many songs and talks about joy and peace and goodwill to all mankind, but the reality was very different. People would get into the spirit of Christmas and just get into more debt and more stressed and more problems in their lives than they had before. On a more personal note, I'm one of 6 kids in my family, and we were not that well off in terms of money. So Christmas for me, very early on in my life, I decided that would be just like another day. Because when growing up, I think I can remember maybe 3 occasions when we had gifts for Christmas. Usually we wouldn't have anything. We would have a nice meal and things, and then we'd get to school and people would be talking about, I got this for Christmas. My dad said they would give me because I had good marks and all of that. And it was just like, well, I had good marks because I want to have good marks because my dad didn't promise him anything and he's not going to give me anything. So I had that I lowered my expectations about that. So for me, it was just another day because nothing really changed when Christmas came. People would be all hyped up and I would be just like, you know what, it's just another day. It's fine, it's fun, you see so many things. But for me, it was just one more day. And then something changed for me when the fact that Jesus was born became something real and something important for me. And that happened on the 10th of October, 1993. That was like Christmas Day for me. It was a Sunday, and I was a teenager. I was about 16, and I just had enough of life. And I had heard about Jesus, so I just went to a church, and on that day, I gave my life to Jesus. And that's when it became real, because people would mention Father Christmas, and they would mention the gifts, and they would mention there was Christmas trees and lights and everything, but no one would mention that Jesus was born on that day, and why he was born, and what difference that would make in my life. So despite having that difficult relationship with Christmas, the day I met Jesus, it all made sense. The joy that they were talking about, the peace that they were talking about, it suddenly became real. It suddenly became a reality. And I realized that knowing him, celebrating the fact that Jesus was born, was more than buying stuff or spending or I don't know, it was more than gifts, more than anything. The greatest gift was given to me on that day, on the 10th of October. And my life was changed. And that verse that we just read, verse 2 from chapter 9 of Isaiah, the people walking in darkness have seen a great light. And those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned. So that verse became a reality. I think that's why I chose this passage, because I was definitely walking in darkness, and the light of God dawned on me on that day that I gave my life to Jesus. And what does it mean to walk in darkness? Because we say darkness, you just imagine somebody in darkness. But if you are in darkness, first, you might not know where you're going because it's dark and you're trying to find your way and you can't see anything. So you might not know where you're going. Sometimes we just go through life reacting to stuff as they come our way. And the things that come our way and we start to react to them, they start to shape up our decisions and then influence from society, things that they say that is good, that you should be doing, that's how you should be, and that starts shaping our life. Because we are in darkness, so anything that comes our way, we start to follow that, and we start to think that's the light, that's what I have to follow. And another thing that is to be in darkness, when you are in darkness sometimes, is you try to feel your way around to make sense of things. Sometimes you're in the dark, you start going, where am I going? And sometimes we do that in our lives as well. We just try to try things. We just start trying things. We're in darkness, we don't know, so we just try to feel our way around. We try to fulfill our lives through our senses, to our other senses, because we can't see. We don't know where we are going. So we just start to be guided by our belly, by our stomachs. I'm hungry, I'm going to eat as much as I can. Or by our sexual desires, or by our emotional needs, or even by our greed. We start being guided by that because we are in darkness and we can't see. Sometimes we are looking and we just don't see. And also being in darkness means to be lost. I was, I think, when was it? Thursday, I think. I was at the Carpenters after work, and we were watching Home Alone. Does anyone like Home Alone? Christmas movie? Yeah. Yeah, it's a very good Christmas movie. And it's an amazing story. And, the boy is left behind, and he does amazing things, and he's a genius. He does things that, no one would think, and then he protects his house and everything. But when it comes towards the end, despite doing so many awesome things, he realizes what he really needs, what he really misses. He realizes that he misses his family. He's separated from them. He doesn't know what's happening, if he will ever see them again, because he thought it was a wish he made that they disappeared, and they did. And he just comes to realize that he's alone, that he's lost. Although he's in his own home, he's lost because he's away and he's separated from his family. And that's a bit of a picture of us when we are in darkness, because we are separated from God, and we are lost because we are away from him. And that last scene when his mom walks in, and you can feel, that mom that tried everything, that stayed in the airport, that sold her stuff to get into the next flight to come and see her son again. And then she walks in, and you can feel that. It's the same love of the Father for us, that we are separated and we are lost and we are in darkness. And he made all the efforts. He sent his son to come and die for us. He made everything because he wanted to be reunited with us, the same way that mom wanted to be reunited with her son. And so sometimes being in darkness means to be lost and to be separated from the one who loves us and the one we love. And being in darkness is like looking and not seeing. Sometimes the answer is right in front of us, especially during Christmas, because somehow most people, although they don't think about God all year round, they remember to go to church or remember the Bible, the nativity story, and things like that. So it's right in front of us, the answer. But when we are in darkness and we are blind, we can't see. So when I met Jesus, I realized that the gift given to me was greater than any material stuff, and that in fact, now I could really celebrate because I knew what joy to the world meant. When God called Abraham, he said, in you all nations of all families of the earth will be blessed. And that's what joy to the world means. In Jesus, every family on earth will be blessed, will be changed, will be transformed. And it's made truth when we meet Jesus and we realize why he came. And so I realized that I could now celebrate Christmas, and I could make the most of it. Because I'm celebrating the one who was born not only to help me through my pain and suffering, but to bring an end to my pain and suffering eventually. So not only I met Jesus, and he started helping me through stuff because he's real, and he became more real to me than anyone in this room. And but also, not only help me through my stuff now, but also he will bring an end to that eventually in our lives. So it's reason to celebrate. It's a reason to be joyful. The fact that Jesus was born and the fact that he came for us. I didn't understand that before. That's why I said I had a strange relationship with Christmas. When I was asked about that, all those memories and feelings started coming back. But as well, the fact that Jesus was born brought transformation into my life. So there is all this conversation about when Jesus was born. Was it in December? It doesn't really matter. He was born, and he brought salvation to all of us. I kind of think he was born in April because it's a better month. But for me, and in my life, October was the month when I met Jesus, and he became a reality. And his love and his light shone into my life, was shown into my life forever. And the other verse 6, which is just amazing in Isaiah 9, is, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace, there will be no end." It's an amazing promise. I thought about that when I read, because this week, we had elections, and there's quite a few people who are upset with the results. Half of the country, almost half of the country, was really upset with the results. But the fact that Jesus is born, we might feel for what's to come, we might feel uneasy. But the fact that he promised us that we can live through this time with hope and with peace in our hearts. We can live through this time and we can carry on, because his government in our lives is a government of peace, and is a government there will be no end. He's greater than any government, than any party, than anything, and we live for him. And that's where we have to put our hope. It's great to have a great government that cares for the people, but if we don't, what do we do? I'm not saying this government won't do it. It's just, please, let's not get into that. But what I'm saying is, if the government doesn't care, what do? We put our hope in the one who cares, in the one who loves us, in the one who came to save, to bring transformation, to bring life, and he will help us through all of that. So it's a quick one today. I'm going to, So maybe you're here and you find Christmas hard, or maybe you're finding this Christmas hard. Maybe because it reminds you of someone that you lost, and this time of the year it becomes stronger, those feelings, because you're always thinking about that person. Or maybe like myself, you are here on your own. There's no one you're from a different country, and you are here, and it's Christmas, and you can't help but think, oh, my family is all the way over there, and here I am. Or maybe you just feel stressed about the whole thing, entertaining people. So my invitation to you this morning is to make Christmas more about Christ, is to bring him into it, and into all these situations, I'm not trying to imply that you are not doing it, but I'm very aware that it's very easy to let ourselves get involved by the spirit of Christmas instead of the spirit of God. And we end up getting involved by what is happening for the party side of things, and we forget that Christmas starts with Christ, although they try to take it away, but it starts with Christ, and he should be the center of our Christmas. And so we have to remember that he came and he brought us together. We are from so many different nations and so many different backgrounds. He's the one who united us. And we should bless one another with gifts and cards and all of that, but also encourage one another and bear each other burdens at this time. And it's amazing. I said that I've been in this country for 16 years. My family is all in Brazil. But I've found amazing people in this country that have been family, that have helped me through stuff. Like I lived for 5 years in Phil and Caroline's house. Yeah, I know. He's a bit scared of what I'm going to say. I lived there for 5 years. And it was just amazing because they were like family, and I had some of my Christmas in there, and then I had to move out because they were a bit upset because the neighbors thought I was their son, so they they said, "Oh, you need to move out. You are too old to be our son." So I moved out to live on my own, and now I've been adopted by the carpenters. They adopt me every Christmas, and it's amazing. So I'll be there this Christmas to have some vegan Christmas dinner. It's sprouts with gravy. I'm joking. Yeah, please let me come. Please let me come. Yeah. No, but what I'm trying to say is you might be here on your own. You might feel there's some amazing people in this church. Just get together with somebody. There's some amazing families that will welcome you. They will make you feel part of their Christmas, and you don't need to be on your own. And so I'd like to pray. Yeah, shall we pray? Shall we stand?